Hey, hello. Right. I hope everyone can hear me and everything's all good. Brilliant. Hello. Oh, that's a bit of a light up there. That's fine. You won't see my face for long. Welcome to my development stream. This is weird. Not quite sure how I feel about this, but it's going to be fun, he says. Not quite sure how we want to do this. But since this is the first one, hello, my name is Toby Jackson. I am if you're seeing this for the first time, game developer and voiceover. And a bit of background, I guess. I recently was made redundant earlier this year. So instead of just, being boring and, just looking for work and looking for real jobs and all that, I decided to actually put multiple eggs in multiple baskets and trout solo game development and, I guess, streaming now. So we are here and we're doing this right now. I will probably give you a rundown on what the game I'm making actually is in a moment. But we'll see how this goes. So we stop all this sort of awkward, me trying to chat to basically no one right now. let's change to this screen, which is a bit better. Let's also I'm just gonna move. I'm actually going to hide the chat box there for the time being and then do that. Okay. So, if you're joining me on Twitch, all my links can be found below. And if you join me on YouTube, all the links can also be found up below. I have donation links from Pally. So if you do that, hopefully a little notification will pop up. Also, a coffee that you can donate to. I'm still setting that one up though, so I will be wary of that. The only streamer that will tell you to not donate to a thing. And then all my websites and all my socials are down there where you can check me out, including my voiceover website as well as my game development, my Unity development website. That's had all my past stuff on. And my current project, which is what you're looking at now, The Masked. Or at least that's its current title, and it's probably its title. So I think we should go ahead and just I'll describe to you sort of what this whole thing is. The Masked is a let me get my game design document up. I'm not going to show my game design document on stream because that'll be private for now. But let me just get up so I'm not trying to think of what to say on the spot. So essentially, what I'm trying to make right now is a third-person action RPG card builder. So think of gameplay like Hades, but all the powers and abilities you get from drawing from a deck of cards, things like that. That's sort of how I describe it to people. And where it's at now is, first of all, I had the idea for this around about a year ago. I would say around about a year ago. Maybe 1-2 years ago, and I started prototyping some bits on it, and it was mainly the card stuff I was prototyping, and then I do what all game devs do, and I forget about it for like a year or 2 years, and then the unemployment struck, and I'm here now, so so I decided to a few months ago. Start up again. I did some more bits on it. I tried out some 3D modeling, which I will try again on stream, so that's going to be fun. I'm not an artist. yeah, I started to make it, and then I thought, hang on, I'm unemployed. Why don't I actually try and do something with this? So I sat down, finished, and made a game design document for it all, and planned out all a bunch of stuff. Still some more stuff to plan because it's still early stages. But yeah, I decided to stream making it rather, which has been an interesting battle mentally for me because I'm very I don't like most people. I think I like people not looking over my shoulder when I'm doing work, and this is that on another scale. Hello, Stefan Brickin. Hello, The Fabled. I've got multi-stream on. I'm streaming on Twitch and on YouTube, by the way. So whichever platform you want to use that. Mars, hello. Hi, Mars. Cheers, mate. Yeah, so give me a follow if you want. Or please do. And we're going to see how this goes, and we're going to see how much I like showing you all. So how this is essentially going to work is Tuesdays and Thursdays. Tuesdays and Thursdays from 12 to probably 3 or 4 p.m. Cheers, mate. I will be streaming, making my game. And it's going to happen every week, unless something gets in my way that way I can't. And I may hopefully then change the date. But I'll be streaming those days, and I'll try and do something different each stream, or at least something different each week to keep it different. So I'm not just doing the same thing on and off. And I will be developing it, obviously, off stream as well. I'm not only just streaming it for 8 hours a week, because I've got plenty of time now. Lovely. So what I thought I'll do today is to show you around the project a little bit, show around Unity, if some people are not aware, answer maybe any questions on Unity and on what's sort of happened in the game dev world. And essentially I'm just going to do some cleanup today, because I didn't plan this very well. I completely forgot to sort of decide what I wanted to actually work on for the first stream, and so it's just going to be a general look around and some cleanup. Lucky me, yes, very much so. I will turn on the chat box just on stream. There we go, and then we'll transition that. Yes. So actually, what I think I might do is I'll show you around how things are set up and how things are actually going to be working. So I'm planning right now to do what's known. Also, I need to make sure everything I'm saying is understood by not just game developers, but also just other people. So I'm going to need to sort of describe things in a bit more of a simple way. So essentially how Unity works is you have these things called scenes, and menu is a scene and game manager is a scene. And in those scenes you have a bunch of different objects. For instance, in the menu scene, this is what's in the menu scene. It's all this visual stuff. And some people just use one scene, some people use what's known as a multi-scene, multiple scenes. So you have one scene maybe for your 3D and one scene for your visuals here and UI. Essentially, that's what I'm doing. So my game manager here is that just handles all the game stuff. I won't really go into that properly, but it's got all savable stuff and card collections and deck managers and player datas. I'll probably just swap some of that out and maybe move the player data to the actual player or to another object. That's fine. And then here's the menu. Here's the first version of the menu. If you can tell, if you're good with games, you may be able to know what this is from. All these assets right now, it's in early stages, so I haven't actually done anything, done any art properly with the game. I just brought in a new font, made some card assets, which I'll actually show you now. If I go to sprites and then card UI. So I create the card. The card isn't just one sprite. It's made from multiple sprites, and I put it together inside here. So this is the card back, and then all the card images here. These are all just taken from the internet right now, just from Google Images. Or I'll probably no, I won't probably. I will get actual art of it done later. For instance, we have. We'll bring that over. We have a very nice, what's it called? A fire fang, we call this one. So all that gets put together and makes up the cards. So let me just actually go in and I guess just show you where I am with it. I've got a rudimentary saving and loading system right now. Are we not going to load? Is it because I've got Streamlabs open and Unity does not like that? Probably. Let me carry on what I was saying. I've got rudimentary saving and loading right now. Just saves and encodes it. Nothing happens in settings or exit right now. But you can play, and then this is another shot from Limbo. Start new game or continue your save. Continue save just to start it. And this is where we are. Ignore that error. That's part of the cleanup we can do today. A bit of the basic code. So this is what I mean by Hades. This sort of camera and similar controls to Hades. And like I said, this is very basic, like just planning out. Like I really only did like the card mechanics and didn't really do any of the 3D or anything. It's probably only had like a couple weeks. I say even a couple of weeks, maybe in a week in total. Like if we're going in total for it. And then you have different options here. So if we go to well, actually, let's first go in large here. Buttons up here, obviously the buttons probably won't be here, but we've got DP, which is that little purple thing at the below. That's actually you can't see that. That's not good. Let me move my camera actually to move it to there. Why not? There you go. Transition that. So yeah, down there, little purple. I won't bother with the transition stuff. I'll just do it manually. Little purple thing down there. That's what I call DP or draw power, because it's a card game and everything's a pun. So draw power or bio. I'll get into that later. I'll get into the story as well. There is a story to this, and I'll talk about voiceover and then everything in a minute. So you just do that to add, because you get draw power by defeating enemies, but don't have any enemies right now. So that's how you get draw power, just to test out other things. Use draw power for activated cards, for buying things. It's your currency in the game. I got the man from Unity free assets, and then I stuck some boxes on him, and I'll get to why I did that later. We'll go to the card chests. So I said it's a card game, and it is, and so there's in-game developments. There's lots of things that can change along the way, and this might be one of them, because I generally need to get opinions on this thing. And it's essentially loot boxes. So I am technically adding loot boxes to this game, but and I don't like it. I hate loot boxes as well. They're very predatory. So you may be asking, why the fuck are you doing it? It's because I sort of want to get the sort of feel of card, like a trading card game, like Yu-Gi-Oh or Yu-Gi-Oh or Pokemon or Magic or Digimon. I play Digimon card game, so I want to get that sort of feel. And opening booster packs, that's gacha, that's loot boxes, and when you do it in a game, that's it can get 10 times worse. And so, first of all, there's no microtransactions in this. You don't use your own money. You pay for the game once, and then that's it. You use the draw power of the bio to get card packs in the game. So that sort of lessens it. But there's still the issue of it being gambling, and you can always make the argument of well Pokemon does that in real life and with their card packs, and kids buy those and true, and that's what I'm battling with right now. There's tons of other ways I can make the player get cards, but right now I'm sort of that's something I need to think about. Either way, you drop how you can use it to open card chests. So we open it here and we have 250. That's another thing I need to fix. But like I said, that's what we can do. We can fix all these little things, and we'll just get you guys, I guess, familiar with what's happening here. So just like in actual TCGs, you have different booster. These are essentially booster packs, these chests. And so you open it, for instance, and then you'll get a collection of 10 cards. This is, and there's different types of booster packs or booster boxes or chests. This is the Fire Water group. So you get fire and water and normal type cards. And as you see, some beautiful. So this is the general vibe of the card. Though there'll be a lot, better art and proper art for these, and this is just very rudimentary, obviously. If there is anything you'd like me to tell you about the game, please let me know. And it takes 100 draw power to open a chest, and once it's there, it is saved and in your collection. So if you go to your loadouts, you actually see this lot here. So actually, what we'll do is we'll create a new save, and also I can show you how the saves work. Let's go to. So in your app data, essentially, I'm doing this off screen because I don't want people to see some of that stuff, but yes, as you see here, in your app data, and then yada yada, and also I'll get to what Desire Games is in a minute. You have some folders here, and you won't have any folders when you start, but if you click play and then new game, I forget if it actually does it now, if it does that there. No, there you go, yep. It creates another folder as an index, and then it's a save file there. And then, for instance, if you open that save file up, it's just all this sort of jumbled stuff. And then that's essentially how it happens. And then you start with nothing and so on. So right now, this is the hub world where we are. And if we go into the loadouts, got no cards here. And nothing in your deck. Your deck is the great bit there. So if we get some draw power and open a card chest, what do we get? Oh, we get common, uncommon, uncommon, and then a rare and super rare. And then we'll go back, and those should be in our collection now. And so this is what I was prototyping sort of last year and before, a few weeks before the stream. And here are the cards, and you have, it tells you how many there are and you have in your collection. So I should probably, I don't know. You can tell me what you guys want. If anyone is there, you can tell me what you guys want to know about this. Because I'm just sort of rambling on and showing you just little bits right now. But essentially, you click on them and you add them to your deck, and you can have a deck of around like 30 or 40. Obviously, all this stuff might change. Or this is a little bit in the air. I do have things written down in the game design document right now. But all that stuff can still change. And then here right now is the shop. The shop doesn't do anything right now. And the level portal doesn't do anything right now. So yeah, if I come out of this, remove all those errors. We don't need those errors. And then I've got a very, very basic, if I can find it, saves panel, yeah. Scene loading, because there's so little scenes, so little level. Essentially, the scenes are levels, by the way. So little levels, I don't need to have a big one right now. But obviously, that would be something we could maybe create on a stream. So if we set that to 3, I think. I'm guessing. I think it's 3. Oh no, I dropped my pen. And then if we go into play and then continue save. Yes, so some slightly different UI opens up, and you see level 1 opens up rather than, I think it's called hub level. Oh yeah, hub level. That opened up last time, but this time level 1 opened with the same environment. And so what's essentially here, and this is essentially the UI for all the levels and all your combats that you're going to be doing. So you have your health bar there, you have armor here, and then here's your bio again, and your or your draw power. You have these 5 squares or rectangles here, which are going to be your cards that you've currently got active, or your armor card you've got active. And then here's your deck here right now. All this is going to move around and look a lot nicer and so on. So when you defeat an enemy, you will gain an amount of draw power based on the enemy, and you'll draw a card, and the card will be drawn there. So that's Rocket Fist, I believe. I'm gonna work on hovering over it and making it larger and things like that. And you can draw up to 5. And right now we've got 1 water-based card and 4 normals. And so the cards are split into essentially 2 groups, 2 categories. We have armor cards and boost cards. Boosts are one-use items for the level, so you get them back at the end of the level. And then you have armor cards, which are permanent effects that give you armor and give you more abilities. So if we click, actually, let's give us some more draw power. If we click, we lose draw power, and this is going to go on this arm here. It's going to change to blue. And then essentially right now, it just changes the color of the arm box, but later on it's going to actually change the model, hopefully. And so this is sort of you're essentially like a superhero. And that's sort of the theming for this. In fact, I can sort of show you some things to do with oh, not that. Hello, copyright-free jazz. I can show you. In fact, are we going good? I think we're going good. I can show you the some inspiration. So Hades game. So what is that? There's a Netflix. Sorry, that's happened. I didn't. Cool, I guess. So Hades. I've been playing a lot of Hades. I haven't finished it, but I've taken inspiration from the game because I really like how they. Let me move that over there. There we go. Because I really like its gameplay and lots of the things about it and its controls and its visual style. I still need to sort of settle on an art style. I mean, I've got one, but not being an artist, I don't even really know if I can pull it off. So we'll see what happens with that. But Hades is one half of the inspirations I've had with this. It's not going to be a roguelite or roguelike. It's going to be sort of like a mission-based level system. Sorry for that. But just that sort of vibe, that sort of feel. But as a superhero, and specifically a superhero in the tokusatsu genre. So this is where I'm gonna reveal something that I like and stuff like that, which is tokusatsu, which is a Japanese film style. I guess you can call me a weeb. I don't really watch anime. I used to, but this is sort of the thing that I like about Japanese media. Tokusatsu. Essentially, you'll probably be able to know this more as Power Rangers, because Power Rangers is tokusatsu. Power Rangers comes from Japan. All the footage from it comes from Japan, essentially. But they have other shows. Like Ultraman is probably something you've heard of. That's one that's sort of on Netflix quite a bit, and things like Kamen Rider. Kamen Rider is I'll type it in, is one that I've taken more inspiration from for this game. So you transform using a belt, and it's card based, and this guy actually also used cards and stuff like that. So I want to get that sort of visual style and the way tokusatsu portrays their stories. I also want to portray in the same way in my game. And so, unless you have any questions on that's sort of the thought process and what I'm thinking about when making the game. And I've written that in the game design document. I might, I won't share the game design document yet, unless you really want to see it, because lots of that stuff so it's basically almost done the game design document. Just a couple more bits to fill in, and then we're basically ready to try and finalize things and talk things through. But you can, start prototyping. If you're making your game, start prototyping whilst making a game design document, or just get a general idea of things. If it's your first game, don't always have to make a game design document. I wouldn't. I've made some games before, and I've worked for companies using Unity and making things like that. So I sort of, I've been doing this for essentially 8 years now, which I said in one of my YouTube videos on indie game design, indie game development, and I would always, if you're planning to make it quite a big game, maybe we'll definitely make a game design document if you're making a big game. But if it's your first game, making a mobile game, just go for it. Just put the ideas out on there. The game design document is meant to help you organize stuff, especially if it is a bigger idea. It's for organization and planning, and to make sure you don't get feature creep. Feature creep is it can definitely happen, especially can definitely happen in the professional world as well. Trust me. I was one of my previous jobs, or my first job actually. We were sort of planning on making these e-learning programs, and we were making e-learning programs with Unity. It was sort of like this, but it was a first-person sort of 3D environment, and you sort of went around it, and you were looking at like how to build a house and things like that. It was for students, because that's also another way you can use Unity. It doesn't just have to be games; it can also be like video. You can use you can use like motion capture, put it into Unity, and create like videos or movies. Some people did that just recently with Unreal Engine. I will say Unreal Engine is probably better for making like movies and videos, but and for its graphics, but still, it's about how much time you put into that type of stuff. But with the e-learning stuff, it got to a point where I feel like we had to sort of we did like 2 months of just developing like the whole like back end and the whole system side of it. we had all these ideas, I think, but we had to be careful, otherwise feature creep would have happened. And essentially, that's just adding stuff in that doesn't really need to be added, adding features, adding mechanics that doesn't need to be added, whether it's a game or it can also happen for other web development things, not just games. Feature creep is in all parts for design and game development. So, with that being said. Unless, like I said, if anyone has any more questions, please let me know. I am going to just move some stuff back. And move you back just there. So, there we go. So what I thought, like I said, if you weren't here at the beginning, I'm just going to sort of clean things up right now, and then maybe once we take a break, we can sort of figure out if we want to do anything else from there. Oh, sorry. Actually, let me show you. Do I have it here with me? I hope I do. Please say I do. Yeah, I do. Okay. Here. Do I have it? Oh, actually, let's go full screen. Discussing my face. I do. There it is. Let me move this here. Here's the full development timeline. This is just the first 10 steps. It goes on for a bunch of other steps, but this is essentially some of the first stuff I'm going to be doing. And this is the MVP, the minimum viable product, or essentially the demo, essentially. I'm going to make this a bit bigger just so we can see it. First two steps is the game design document and the game story. This is an old snapshot, so basically they're almost done, and I pushed those dates back a little bit. Because the glory of being able to work on your own game is you can sort of set deadlines and you can push them back whenever. You're not, at the whim of some corporate entity telling you have to release it now and we can't push it back, and then it will flop and so on. So I can push these back whenever. I'm going to be still sensible with it, and try and get things done on schedule. But other things happen to me, so I had to push them back a little bit. So game design document and game story, that's what that is. So the first proper thing after probably this stream, probably next stream, is going to be going over the combat. So I've basically done player movement. Like everything, it's just going to be the first MVP demo version, so all these features are going to be tweaked at some point. But basic player movement, I just showed you, we've already got that, so I sort of take that off as finished for now. We can always go back and tweak it later. So combat system. In the notes, it's just a system that can use to fight enemies. The combat system is also going to be used by enemies, so I need to sort of start setting that up. Then basic player actions and abilities, so those are stuff to do with the cards. Health, armor, draw power systems. I need to actually get the health stuff working and tie in the draw power to, enemies dying, things like that. Then the card ability system, that's essentially just going to tie into the player actions and abilities. I'll probably expand on card ability system a bit more. And then first set of cards, and the first set of cards. So right now the game is going to be released in 4 sections, or 4 arcs, 4 story arcs essentially, because that's how the tokusatsu genre does things. Essentially, is it sort of does things in 4 arcs and releases things in sort of like that way. So in each arc, I'm going to build on the previous mechanics just a little bit. Nothing feature creepy, but just introduce something slightly new to make it feel more fresh. And so you'll get different cards in different arcs of the game, different parts of the game. So the first set of cards, essentially, I'm just going to start making. It's probably going to be around 10 or 20 of them. I'm going to say it's the first set for now. Player mission UI, which is that UI we saw earlier, but actually sort of maybe work out what is actually the better way to do that UI, because I don't really like how cluttered everything looks right now. And then actually start making the introductory mission, or mission 1. I call my levels missions in this game, because you're a superhero and like you're going on missions rather than levels, and I think that's nicer. So that is that. I'm gonna come back to here, and I'll keep the game dev thing on screen here for now. So, like I said, we've done player movement basically, and I'm finishing the game design document and game story off stream. So the next thing to do is the combat system. But we're going to do some cleanup today and just share around the project. I've said we're going to do some cleanup today for about 40 minutes. Because that's almost how long I've been streaming for. I've been streaming for like 44 minutes. So let's actually get up to some cleanup. Let's actually look at an error. Let's try and fix an error that came up when I was demoing to you. So I think it was in 2. If we load up, we'll see what is actually happening with the error. Let's actually take away the game dev timeline, because that will probably help hide that. It's going to play. Right, hello error. I haven't even opened up my compiler or anything yet. So a null ref. Null refs are very easy. Basically, excuse me. God, load please. I probably should have opened a Visual Studio before. Basically an object says in the code that it has a reference to something, but it can't actually find that reference, and so it's getting stuck. It's like it's saying the code is saying you should have this thing, but in actual fact it doesn't have this thing, and so it's erroring, it's stressing out. So what is it saying we have? I presume amount in deck text. So that is saying that because the UI for the level, which I will actually show you now, has an amount in deck text. So if you go into and we actually load, so this number here is the amount in deck text. However, so essentially what is running, I already basically know this, is this line of code is running even though this number wasn't there. Because essentially I'm using this UI for both the level and the hub, and I need to sort of split that out. So if we go back to 2. Well, actually, we have a decision here now. Either we can create 2 managers, maybe for the. There's lots of things we could do here. But for now, I might actually just leave that error right there, because I haven't actually decided how I want to organize the UI managers yet. Also, if you're looking at this and you don't know what any of this means, that's fine, by the way. I'm not going to expect you to know what this is, and you don't need to know what this is to enjoy it all. You don't need to know what it is. So I'm just looking for something in my... what am I looking for? There it is. Okay. I was going to hide that. Yeah, you don't need to know what any of the code is. I won't expect you to. You won't need it to. It's all just about chatting and having fun, really. Yeah, well, I really should have planned what I wanted to do. Oh, dear me. I'll definitely tomorrow. I'll definitely sit down and actually plan it and get like and plan out the combat system and maybe start doing it. What can we do? If anyone has any ideas, love to hear them. Granted, this is Dev Stream On, so this is sort of really realistically me introducing things to you, to anyone who sees this. And you can watch the VOD basically back on YouTube as well. So, let's go into play mode. Oh no, screw it. I know what we're going to do. Let's actually set up level 1. Let's just sort of block things out and start. Let's do some level design, because that's going to be some easy brain dead stuff I can do right now. Because I'm basically I've got a second monitor and I'm focusing on the stream as well, and I'm not used to this type of stuff. So let's do level 3 or scene 3. Essentially, if you basically want to know, it loads, so the scene numbers are taken right now. This is going to change because I don't have many scenes, but from the build settings, and so scene 3 is level 1, as you can see there. Scene 2 is the hub level, and so scene 1 is the menu. So you unload 1, which is the hub level, load 3 or 2. And that happens when you click continue or new game. So let's sort of plan out the level 1. Because right now, what we have, if we go into it, is this, which is sort of the hub environment. The hub environment is going to change drastically from this, but we want. So the levels are going to sort of take place in this sort of, if you couldn't tell right now, in this sort of limbo sort of world, but it's sort of almost a parallel world to ours, almost in it's got buildings, sort of like big skyscraper buildings and roads and things, but it's sort of slightly off looking, almost in a horror sense. It's not a horror game, but maybe that it's sort of unsettling sense. And so the idea is you're going through this maybe like almost abandoned city fighting these monsters for a reason I can always get into later. It's going to get to a point where at least the beginning of the story you're going to find out what it is. So, but I'm going to try and hide other story elements from you to hopefully, once the game's released in like a year or two, or however long it will take me. Imagine not getting enough sleep last night. When the game's released in a year or two, then you'll be able to go into it not really knowing the story at least. So yes, let's work on the level. Let's work on the level. So if we go into scenes, and if we drag in level 1, and let's remove that scene. Let's go down to the player. So here's the boy. I took this free asset from, I think I just said this, but I took the free asset from the Unity asset store, just free assets I'm using right now. I do plan to make my own models. I am fine with, paying someone. Oh, look at that Z fighting. I am fine with paying someone for to help make me the models and maybe make the art, but I'm going to at least try first. And that's what one of these many streams hopefully is going to be, is me actually making the models and the art and trying 3D modeling out. I've got Blender. I've been trying. I did these walls in Blender. Yay me! I've done the donut tutorial as well in Blender from Blender Guru on YouTube. He does some brilliant tutorials, and he's got a very famous. Every new version of Blender that comes out, he releases a new donut tutorial, which is going through steps of like modeling a donut, texturing to rendering to animate, things like that in Blender, and everyone basically does that. But I made these walls. I made these modular walls that are sort of, if you've got snapping on, they. Do we not have? Okay, if you have snapping on, they would snap together. But for now, this is what we've got. But this is the hub level, is what I was trying to say, and we want to change this. So with the level design, I haven't actually drawn it out yet. I could probably do something like that. Actually, if we want to go very quickly back to full screen webcam, I have. Give me a minute. I have a whiteboard. So nothing's on actually right now. But if I need to, think out any pseudocode, which is essentially just writing what would be actual code out, but writing out in essentially layman's terms, just sort of like when this happens, do this. That's pseudocode essentially. Or just any art stuff or explaining to you anything rather than doing it on Paint. I've seen people like Pirate Software and I forget his name. It's not Prime. Oh shit! So I forget his name. But do stuff writing in like Paint and stuff. I like to write on a whiteboard, but it is going to be a bit difficult for me. I have pens. He says trying to get the lid off the bloody pen. There we go. There we go. No. So, you can actually see that quite well. Although there are some reflections. So, you can't really see much anyway. The first idea I literally just had is maybe I could plan out the environment on here. Which, see, I'm not a drawer. That's the thing. I'm not an artist. So, and I keep whacking myself in the face with this. So let me show sort of the very zoomed out idea of what's going to be happening. So let's say this is the platform. This is sort of the plane you're going to be on. Let me go back and show you what I mean, just in case you don't know. This is sort of the plane. This is the ground, I should say. This is the ground that the player's going to be walking on. And so what I'll actually do is maybe like that. There you go. So player probably starts there. And then there'll be probably like it's like it's like a city. There's gonna be like roads and things, and maybe like a 4-way intersection, and then another road going down there, and then going forwards where there'll probably be like a turn, and that'll be like even bigger. There'll be more roads, and then in between there will be like buildings and like parks with trees. And but all in this sort of like limbo, sort of unsettling sort of look to it all. So the trouble here, and one thing what I will say is about doing this, doing game design and making a game in front of all of you, is I do have, hopefully, he says, actual people to bounce ideas off of, and sort of think about, because I would like this to be, a sort of a nice community-driven thing. I need to work out. I'll probably put in the credits thank you to like Twitch and YouTube chat and things like that. But the good thing about doing this is it makes you say your ideas out loud. Because one big thing that lots of programmers and lots of game devs and even lots of artists, I think, sort of faces when they're doing things on their own, or maybe they're a bit introverted. I'm a bit introverted, and you tend to just sort of work on things quietly, or you use music sometimes, but you tend to work on things quietly, and that's okay. But if you're stuck on something. If you're stuck on a bug, if I'm stuck on a bug as a programmer, the good thing to do is just sort of say out loud. The amount of times when I was at a couple jobs ago that I could always go into the technical director's office because we were quite a small company and we all got to know each other really well. And I could just walk into his office and be like, oh, I got this problem. And I would say it out loud. And he didn't even have to say anything. The moment I said it out loud, I'll get an idea of how I can fix something, and I'll go back and it will be fixed. So talking things out loud, even if it's talking to something. I know Pirate Software said talk to like, he has The Rock, I think, as an action figure. I have so many things I can talk to. I said earlier in the stream I play a Digimon card game, so I've got a little Agumon figure that I can talk to. Wow, that light is there's a directional light. God, I hate that I just said there's a directional light. That is such a Game Day Unity thing to say. I hate that. But there's a light above me that is really bright. But the thing is, the one thing about this apartment is we have a big old window back door over there, and it lets light in all the way up to like our telly, which is nowhere, not really even close to me, and then just the daylight ends, even on a sunny day. So I have to have these lights on if I don't want to make things dark. But that makes my forehead really shiny. That does. So go off topic. Anyway, what I was saying is, if you need to talk to something, get like a figure or like a little plush toy or something that you can talk to. And in this instance, what's good, I don't have to talk to my Okumon anymore, my little monster. I can talk to you lot, or just say things out loud, and that way I can probably get over some ideas. So what we're actually going to do is, let's make. I need to actually I need to change screens first of all. There we go. I need to change this, because this is the hub level and we need to make this level 1. So we're going to make a very rudimentary level 1. So first of all, we don't need, we can just flat out remove the shop, the portal, the level select, the loadout, and the card chests. What's the card chests here? Yeah, those. Because we don't need these. I am going to keep the portal one, because that could maybe be like an end of level. You get there and you click on it. So what I'm going to do is just straight up delete those in the environment section here. We'll go to portal. We'll rename it to end level, and we'll also go into this canvas here. So the world space canvas just holds a piece of text. So if I go over to here, a canvas is essentially this sort of flat box sort of thing here, and it holds text, and this says level portal, so let's say end level just for now. We're probably not going it's not probably not going to be called that, but we'll call it that for now. And essentially once you get within a proximity of this, once actually if we go to player, once this green orb is intersecting with this panel here, then it will end the level, or it will bring up the text, sorry, and then you press E to interact with things. So we'll do that. I don't even know if it's going to be like an actual portal yet, or if it's going to be like a teleport pad or what. I haven't really decided that yet, but that's fine. We're at the very early stages of game development. Everything's fine. I'm very much when I design things, so program-wise, when I design things, I like to sort of, get a prototype, make things not maybe perfectly programmed, but get things working, and then sort of go from there, and then sort of go over your old stuff and tweak things. And I know a lot of people are really against that. And I understand why. They're against that because they like to get things right first time, or at least as right as they can be first time. They don't like just rushing something together and making it not that well coded. Because I'll show a piece of code or a script. It'll be in UI. I literally just organized my scripts this morning, and did that. So let's look at the not card creator. Where did I put the card chest? Yeah, let's look at the card chest manager. So this is a mess. I think anyway. I need to clean it up, especially because all these calculations I'm doing, not calculations, or all the searching I'm doing to pick out the right cards. So basically the card chest manager, I should probably explain what it is. Card chest manager is essentially when you open the chest and you get a random assortment of cards like you do in card packs in Yu-Gi-Oh! Magic the Gathering. It gives you cards based on the rarities, and so this is what it does here. It gets all the cards in. It gets the chest that needs to be opened. It gets all the cards in that chest and all the rarities and everything. Puts them on all different lists. Organizes the lists, and then picks the cards based on the criteria of the card chest. So, for instance, if we go to, it is in card scriptural objects chest Firewater. So this is a scriptural object, and essentially it's an object that can just hold data, and it's essentially a read-only piece of data. But read-only object. Or it should be. You can change it during runtime, but you really shouldn't. And so here it tells you the name of the chest, the cost of the chest, so it takes 100 draw power, how many cards you're going to draw, and then this section here is the requirements. So, for instance, in Digimon, and I think in some other card games, you are guaranteed at least one rare and then one rare or above card. And so in this card chest, you'll definitely get 5 commons, 3 uncommons, 1 rare, and then 1 rare plus, which is a rare or above, for a total of 10 cards. And you're also guaranteed an armor card and its finisher card. I'll explain more, I guess, about cards later. And 1 basic boost card, which are like the grey cards. And so those are all essentially the requirements for what needs to be pulled. And then these are all the cards in the chest. I think there's 80 in this one, yeah. So here are all the armor cards. Here are all the basic boost cards, and here are the enhancement boost cards. You don't need to know what all this means. But I can talk about that later. But that's sort of basic. And then essentially the script goes through each of those requirements and pulls out the cards it needs. So it goes to, because you need an armor card, it goes to the armor card first and randomly picks an armor card from all the armor cards. And then it checks off what rarity it is. So if it pulls a common armor card, it checks off, okay, we've used one of the 5 common cards we need. And it goes from there. And for the most part, it is quite a simple script, he says. But I don't like how there's a bunch of stuff here that I need to go over and make sure it works for other types of, other one of these. I just forgot the words. Great. That's great, Toby. I don't like it, is what I'm saying. But I will never like anything. Also, the past week and not the past week, the past month, I was working on this again. I did a bad thing, a very bad thing. Oh, I'll do this side. There we go. Bad thing. And I forgot to comment some things. I commented a bit. But maybe not enough, or at least not on some scripts. I commented on here, I think, okay, but still not great. You should always comment. Comments are these green lines, by the way. And essentially they don't get read by the computer when they're running the program. But this is purely for the humans working on the code, and it's generally for, if it's for a couple of things really. So if you're working on your own, or even if you're working on a team, if you go back to a piece of code you've written like months ago or years ago, it's so you can sort of remember what it does again, and so you don't have to go through the code and read it all and go, okay. So you can just look here and goes, okay, get all commons, uncommons, and rare plus in 3 lists. Does that. Basic boost requirement, take out certain res if needed. That is actually a reminder, I think. But also the second use is if other people are working on your code, it also just makes them not have to go through the code and have to read it all and interpret what you're doing. It just, in actual English, says this is where the armor card requirement is. There you go. And so it sorts out all the cards, and then it pulls the card. And this is the actual bit I fucking hate. So many for eaches that don't need to be there. I could probably do that a lot better. But there we go. And then it resets all the lists. So, like I said, I think at the beginning of the stream, mentally, I'm not quite sure how I like showing off my code. I don't like people watching over me whilst I work, or even just in general when I'm on my computer. I don't like people watching over me. But here we are. There we go. I showed you a piece of my code, and you'd see a lot more of it later. So, without further ado, with an hour 10 minutes almost gone, let's properly get to reorganizing this and sort of maybe setting out a proper level. These people right now are, I call them workers, but they've got the enemy, you can't see that, they've got the enemy material. It says, oh no, you can't see the enemy material. Right now, I think okay, camera position, cool. I'm going to move that actually up there, just to reorganize that. 2 directional lights, because I don't have any baked in lights, or I don't know any other lights yet, so we're just using 2 directional lights. So we've got the player there, he's fine. Canvas, which is the UI, and that eventually will probably be, it will be separated out into a separate scene for UI, but right now it's going to be here. Event system, that's just for making things in the UI work, essentially. I won't go too much to that. And then the environment. So we've got the end level, we've got the floor. That's cool. Let's change the floor into something less sparkly and something more Limbo-esque, just so we can get a feel. So if we go to my materials, screw it, let's make a new, let's rename this to the hub floor, and I'm going to rename this one, a new one I just made, to level floor. And let's have a look. Ooh, we've got some interesting materials here. These are just going to be stretched materials, but we might as well try and use some of them. Let's use that. And then let's put that on there. There we go. I don't like that. God, I'm fucking picky. Yeah, let's go with that, sure. Just pissing around now, aren't I? Yeah, let's go with that. Cool. Right. Cool, let's make it a bit more atmospheric. So the walls, because it's a city, we don't really need walls, but we are going to have some boundaries, and they're probably going to be the player bounds are probably going to be essentially just like trees or buildings that you can't get past at all. You can't get around, rather than just doing invisible walls. Let's take the workers and just hide them for now. I am going to actually rename all of them as or enemy. I think that's how you spell enemy. Well, I'm just blanked on how you spell. Sure, let's go with that. It'd be funny if it's not. And also, what's other? What is other? Oh, we've got some enemies here. Screw that. There we go. Call them enemies. Should I put some music on? Should I put some music on? Let's hope. Is the jazz music? See, so the one thing is like it says royalty free, and I'm like, oh, is it? Actually, I know what's royalty free. I've got some music I can use. Let's use some of that music I have over here. So let's go full screen cam for now. So feel free to chat. Feel free to donate. I've got some donations in donation links on Pally. Feel free to do all that whilst I'm getting some music up. Like I said, first dev stream. Even then, it's not really a dev stream. It's more a introduction to the game I'm making. And this will all be on YouTube, so you can look at it later and skim through. But feel free to comment. Ask me any questions, please. I'm game dev, indie game dev now, and voiceover. Please ask me any of that. He says begging to no one watching. Backing tracks. Let's all have a little listen together. Lovely. Let's turn you down though. There we go. I think that's a good enough. Yeah, I think that's good enough volume. And I would like to loop this, please. Actually, I'm not going to turn it down in Streamlabs. I'm going to turn it down on my PC because I'm hearing it full force right now. There we go. And now let's go back to the... Yeah. Wonderful. There we go. Got a nice bit of music now. Good. Okay, so let's do the thing I was always going to... Actually, let's... So, the... There we go. Okay. Interesting. What's happening there? And then if we use global. There we go. Okay. Now we're snapping. Had to use global and then set it to global and use the actual pivot point rather than the center of the object. I need to remember to actually always set it to its pivot. That's fine. Okay, cool. So what we're going to do is let's delete all the wall straights and all. I'm going to keep one just to have. I'm going to bring it out of the group. There we go. And let's remove all the corners. And where's the colliders? Oh wow, yep. Here's the colliders. We don't need these colliders. We'll just redo those with the floor here. Got a wall straight. Wonderful. There we go. Wonderful. Let's bring the chat box up again if anyone wants to chat. There we go. Like I said, feel free to ask me anything. Game dev and voiceover. I am losing my voice from an hour talking. I am pathetic. Let's go 180 on this. Look at, yeah, so I made these modular in Blender, so these snap together lovely like that. But for now, we'll have these just be transparent. So we need a level. And is the music good? Okay. We need a level. The play's there. I will work on the floor being this big for now, I think. Might change it anyway. Fang. I'm also gonna. There we go. Might change it. So we'll make it 200. Just, I think that might be a bit too big for a. We'll make it that big for now. It's probably not even going to be fully square like it is here. And we'll set the player's starting position to be. So if we're looking at. If we're looking at, that's like over here. So basically, the camera's going to be looking at it in a diagonal like this. So it's going to be looking at in a diamond sort of. We'll start him here. And then we'll go from there. Okay, so let's actually go back to our menu. Let's remove the scene. Let's just give a quick glance over how I think things look. I mean, basically nothing is, yes, there we go. We are maybe a bit too close to the edge here, but that's fine. Yeah, so as you can see, me going right, if we go back into the scene, is him going diagonally across there. Because that's essentially how Hades' movement works, and I'm sort of replicating that a little bit. So, bring back in level 1. So even with, so actually because of that, I do hate sometimes the movement in Unity, how it's gradual. So basically, you move like really slowly, and then you start gaining speed, and it can be useful. But sometimes, if you're far away and you've got your settings to be really slow, you have to change it. It's so annoying. So, okay, so let's move the player somewhere else. Let's move him down like here. Yeah. And then I think what we'll do is we'll make the floor even bigger. Let's make it 300. So I made the floor 300 by 300, but realistically we're only going to be taking up 200 by 200 of that space, and the remaining the remaining 100 border is essentially just going to be, you know, some space so you don't see the edge of the world. And we yeah, so actually because of that, let's put some very, very basic boundaries. Let's change the floor back to 200 by 200 just so I can see where I want the boundaries to be. And we'll get the cube. Is this? Yeah, this is snapping. Right. And then we will scale it We'll scale it to like 5. No, we need to scale it to like 20, don't we? Oh, that's. I was wondering why it only went to 2. No, we need to get to 20. There we go. And then move it up. And then on the Z, we'll scale it. Whoa, so it's big. Actually, I know the exact size it needs to be. It needs to be 200. Is the floor? The floor. Okay, that's interesting. Oh, that's why. There you go. I don't know why that was set to 9. Yeah, the positioning of the wall was a bit weird. So let's set up this border, and then we can make things a lot bigger. There we go. So it's let's make it minus 90, minus 100. I mean that would be on the very end. Yeah, let's make it minus 100. Okay, so we need this border. We need another border. And essentially, so. You won't be able to, so these will be invisible in a bit. So we'll remove the mesh renderer from these, which the mesh renderer renders the mesh. It renders this white cube, but it leaves the box collider, and that means we won't be able to, our collider on the player won't be able to move past this. We can't no clip through. So we will move, and we're going to hide the canvas just because it's a bit annoying getting in the way. Move the border this way to positive 100, and then we need to make another one, and we need to rotate this one. Or, actually, no, we just need to stretch it out on the x-axis, realistically, 200. Oh, you did not like that, did you? Did not like the why? Ooh, hello. Oh, there you go. I need to actually make it 1 thickness, don't I? And then minus 100, and then positive 100, and there we go. We've set up the most basic of borders, but the player won't even notice it's really a square. Realistically, it's going to be so big that it player won't even notice. So now we can make the floor 300 by 300, just so we maybe don't get any of the void in camera view right now. So this is our working player space, and let's set all the mesh renderers to invisible. So there we go. So if we move the player up here, we should, and we'll test this in a moment. Where's that border? Where's border 3 then? Okay, there. Yeah, we should then stop. Ooh, not that. We should stop moving at some point. So let's go back to main menu and give this a quick old test. Let me zoom in. Here we are. So we can still see the bounds. But we're not moving, as you can see up here. We're moving away, moving away, moving away, moving away, moving up, moving up, moving up, moving up. No, it stopped. Okay. How much of the void can we see if I go to the corner? We are moving. Oh, actually, I think we might have stopped. Let's. Yeah, we've definitely stopped. In between a crossroads. If you open environment and then border 3 and border 1. Oh yeah, there we go. There you go. So, we probably need to make the floor just a little bit bigger. I mean, I'm gonna be honest, when it comes to the actual game and like the actual 3D, when we bring it in, the actual environment, we're probably just gonna block the void via like game art, and like buildings and trees and things like that. So it won't matter too much. But I would still like to remove that. I'd still like to not really see it just as I'm developing, so let's make it 400 by 400. Okay. Also, what I want to do is change the floor texture again, because again, I don't actually really like it. So I did see, and I wanted to go themey, but I did see this. So if we do that. Actually, oh, that's one of the Unity ones, isn't it? God damn it. Can I please get a texture where it's obvious that I'm moving? Let's do a quick Google search for like a brick texture. Or like a cobbled floor texture. Right. Cobbled floor texture. Cartoon? We'll go with that. Is that repeat? Oh, that could be a repeating tone. I mean, I'm gonna be honest. This is the most basic. Actually, let's save it as. I am just gonna very quickly go to full screen just to make sure I'm not showing you any private files very quickly. Okay. And then once I'm in a place where I'm fine with, if you look. Okay. Go back to computer capture. Icons, images, concepts, backs. We don't have a folder for textures. Text. Whoa, that is also a cobbled floor. Yeah, I know. Let's go to sprites. These are backing tracks. And then we go into text, and there it is. So sprites, we'll just bung it into here. There you go. Cobbled floor. Let's remove the chat box again. I do need a better setup for this, especially since no one's chatting, and this is probably going to be mainly watched on YouTube after the fact, but that's fine. So. We want to set this to the UI. We're going to set it to single. Yeah, fine with that. And now if we go into materials and level floor, let's rename that to mission floor so I can see it better. And then cobbled. And then we'll set the tiling to 400 by 400. What is it to 300 by 300? So these 200 by 200? Oh, that's a lot better. I like 200 by 200. I mean, it's still obvious that like you can see where it tiles, but I that's fine for now. Cool, I like that. It'll be easier to tell. Hopefully, I'll say it's gonna be easier. Let's actually test if it's easier to tell if I'm moving or not. I definitely need a quick way to get into the menu and to test, but I can do some Unity editor code for that. And I'll probably do that off stream because it's going to be a bit... Ah, beautiful. Also, I feel like for Hades, let's bring up Hades again. How he's such a bit. He's not dead center he's not dead center in the middle of the environment, is he? He is very much he's not really in the middle. He's a bit higher up and also a bit further out. I feel like we're maybe a bit too zoomed in here. So whilst it's running, let's play around with the camera position. And I think I need to play around with this one. So let's make it -7, -7, because we're looking at it diagonally, so we need to move the X and the Z. We'll do -10, -10. Oh, we're moving. Okay, we also need to move. Let's do 12. -8. -8. No, -10, -10. I mean, it's definitely a lot hard. I like that one better, actually. Yeah. Right, and you can just see there, but I'm not worried about that because we're gonna have big old buildings. We're at such a low angle that we're fine. Let's not fuck around with that anymore. So, what I want to do is I want to copy the components. Let's go back into here. Let's go back into level 1. Remove menu. Go into the camera position and then paste. So we've got these values right now, and then I just want to paste the component. Paste component values. So here we are. Ooh, and then don't know why that happened. Okay. I know. So in the dev timeline, let me bring it up. I know we said we'll plan the mission 1, which is what we're planning. We're doing level design. We're doing mission 1 level. We do that essentially last. But I feel like just to because that's gonna be. This is gonna be the level where I'm gonna be testing all the previous stuff. I need some sort of level to plan out, and I think that it will be a good introductory stuff, so I don't have to, because I didn't plan any of the codes that I'm going to be doing. I don't even really know how I sort of want to do combat. I do have a basic combat system where you can use some abilities. Okay, can we do it now? Can I show you now? Let's try now. Let's go back. Oh yeah, this is. So let's get some draw power. And then draw. So I will say, draw power is called draw power. You don't use draw power to draw. You use draw power to use cards. Granted, the name might be a bit confusing and we might have to change it. But there you go. We got some cards here. This is Danger Shark. And then we initialize Danger Shark down there. So, I forget if I disabled the abilities or not. We're going to find out. Oh, no, there we go. Yes, this is one ability. So, and then it has a time down. I might actually move the time down, and because you use some draw power to use abilities. So when you press Q on this one, you turn to a little shark. So this is essentially meant to be like a little shark that's gone underwater. And actually, a quite interesting thing is, let me draw again. And also you can redraw your whole hand for a certain draw power cost. So we know the barrier's here, and let's actually go into the environment and make all the borders visible. There we go. Can I get under it? Oh my god, I can't. I love that. Brilliant. So we're going to have to make all this bigger, that's fine. So that's one of the abilities. So I do already have a very, because a year ago I do already have like a very basic like level system. Not level system, what I'm talking about, ability system, there we go. Do we have, yeah. So I don't have ability set up for those two yet. Redraw. Don't have ability set up for you. Don't have ability set up for you. Oh, I've only got the Danger Shark one. Okay, cool. Yeah, so I think I set up abilities for 5 cards. Those 5 being a rocket jump where you fly into the air for like a couple of seconds. I might change that because that might get a bit complicated with this sort of type of movement and combat and this sort of camera angle. I did a quick like super speed dash, almost like a blink, 182. Dumb as all. And then I did so the shark thing, and then and an ice ability where it puts 4 patches of ice that slow enemies down. And then for the chest ability, so a bit more. This is a bit more about the cards. The armor cards, which are these ones. And obviously these are not the armor cards. The armor cards have abilities that you can use again and again and again. The boost cards can use, it's a once per level thing. Or once per mission. As long as you have enough draw power. Yeah, so you have different types of armor cards. So you have one based on each limb and then your body. So left leg, left arm, right arm, and body. And for the limbs, they're just abilities like this. They're, going underwater shark, and essentially with this, you when you go through enemies, you damage them. With the body, you get a weapon that doesn't take any cost to use. So, for instance, for one of them called the Dragonic Knight, you get a sword. For Pirate Captain, you get a gun, like a flintlock pistol, that type of thing. So you have at least some way of fighting enemies with no draw power, no cost, and also wow, I lost my train of thought. And also, it's time for a break. It's definitely time for a break. We're going to go for a break right now. I'm going to get a drink. Let's go for a little break. Right, back in a minute. Bye-bye. Hello. Hello. So I'm gonna move that down to 6. There we go. Okay, hello. Hope you had a nice break. Remember, drink water. Water break, everyone, quickly. Drink your water. Hydrate. So I'm still gonna turn this down a little bit, I think, for me. There you go. So I just had a quick check and see how I posted on all my social medias about I'm streaming. So yeah, everyone give me a follow. Yeah, if you like. Remember, I got all my links down below, both on YouTube and on Twitch, and all my donation stuff. So feel free to do that if you can spare any. I would greatly appreciate it. Thank you. Anyway, with that being said, let's actually for the next hour or two. I might only do 3 hours today, just purely because just as essentially an introductory thing. I might not though. I haven't even made my mind up. One thing that we should do is extend these borders, otherwise I'll be able to do this. So let's do that. Environment and borders. Let's make it 30. And let's go to... Oh, actually, there we go. I think I like that. Let's give it a quick test. And let's go back. So. Oh, wrong bloody. Yeah. Oh, no, not even wrong. It's not wrong. It's I just got the canvas hidden. There we go. Try that again. Okay, yeah, we can all hear me good, yeah. I think it might actually turn me down a bit, because I don't know if I'm peaking. So let's turn me down. There, to that, yeah, hello. Okay, cool. Just a little bit. Right, okay. Oh, yeah, we're up against the wall now. Let's just make sure we can see them, just so we know what's happening. Yeah. And now, danger shark. Oh, we need some more DP. So, yeah, if you don't have enough draw power, the ability won't activate. I'm pressing Q now. You can't. Don't know if you can hear that. So you need some draw power. Oh, look all the enemies I've defeated. Oh, and here we go. And can we go under it? No, we can't. Brilliant. That's cool. And then you stop there. There we go. I do like how he just immediately turns. Brilliant. Brilliant. Cool. So let's actually get to just maybe making some things like roads or pavements, things like that. And we'll just use cubes because that's all we need. Remove this scene. So, Jesus. Okay. So, ooh, who buzzed me? Okay, no one's buzzed me. Lovely. Hello, everyone new. Feel free to chat. Ask me any questions, what I'm doing. I will say, someone did message in YouTube chats, but it didn't come up on my Streamlabs, annoyingly. So I think I'm going to have it, that one open. God, I don't know when he said, what game are you making? So I'll, and that was from GalPro3. So I'll quickly, I'll describe what game we're making very quickly. I have a game design document. It's essentially a third-person action RPG deck builder, where you're fighting off enemies. You're a superhero. You're fighting off enemies, and I've sort of taken inspiration from Hades and the Japanese film style tokusatsu, which makes things like Ultraman and that. So it's going to be that sort of very explosive sort of almost like Power Ranger sort of like look to everything. And when you defeat enemies, you get to draw cards and use those cards, and those cards are your abilities, and the cards are also your armor and armor abilities and things like that. And you get the cards through card packs, which I'm maybe not going to do because card packs are very microtransaction-y and very what do you call it? Microtransaction-y and insert word here that I've forgotten, and a bit scummy. They're loot boxy. That's what I'm trying to say. And so I decided to not. Well, I'm still deciding whether I want to do card packs or not. You're definitely not gonna pay for them with real money. I know that for a fact. You're going to use the in-game currency that you just get from completing levels. Because I'm not making... You pay the game once. Microtransactions are scummy as all hell. And I hate them. And you should too. So with that being said, for the 1 millionth time, let's actually create the level. So, environment. 3D object, I want a cube. Good old cube. Right. So we want some pavements. And so... Galpro 3. Thank you. Yeah, I did just check on YouTube. It was there, but thank you. What's your opinion on the... Unreal Engine 5 general movement component versus for online versus the multiplayer for online multiplayer games versus the character movement component default. So I've done a little bit of Unreal Engine, but I haven't actually dabbled with the any multiplayer stuff for it. I do know, obviously, when you load it up. When you create new projects, you can choose different basic setups. You can choose a third-person shooter camera, first-person shooter camera, things like that. If you could explain maybe a bit more what those are, because I'm not too familiar with Unreal per se. What are the differences on them? I'd be actually quite interested to know. Actually, let's have a look now. Let's Google what the differences are. We'll open you up. So, UE5 movements. And I'm gonna be honest, maybe do some of your own testing. It's one of those things where, see, this is really where I haven't dabbled with Unreal. To be fair, Unreal is something I really want to dabble with. I had actually the idea of making this game in Unreal first, but I decided to do Unity because I know more about Unity. So, like, this is... I'm going to get questions where I'm like, fuck, I don't know, man. I haven't used that. And that's fine. Give both a go and just see how you feel and which one you like more, I would say. Because testing's a whole big part of game development and game design. And, it's going to be one of those things where some people... What I've noticed is I've been uploading a bunch of shorts, for instance. YouTube shorts and on TikToks and things like that. And I was talking about things about Unity versus Unreal and been like AAAs versus indies and things like that. And oh god, actually, let me show you some of the comments in some of the comments in those shorts, specifically the Unity versus Unreal shorts. Thank you. So here we are. And some of these comments, it's basically just people saying, no, I like this engine because, and then someone saying, no, I like this engine because, and I'm correct, and I'm correct. And I'm like, no one's correct. And I would make the argument, purely because I've never really gone fully in depth into Unreal, and so I can't really comment on it, that I feel like it's probably going to be the same type of thing, where it's a lot of it's going to be personal preference. Maybe some of it is going to be quite, leaning towards multiplayer games. I'm unsure on that, so that you may have to do some testing on that. But it's probably going to be quite personal preference. Yeah, and there's a bunch of also people just saying Godot forever, Godot, which I really like. That's very funny. Not funny because I think it's bad. Funny just I like it. Yeah. So I got a bunch of and people say. I will say my favorite comment is my first mean comment that said hit the gym, and I love that so much. It's so funny to me. It's really, I just found it really funny. Did Unreal get removed from public access? I don't think it did. It didn't, because you can still access it. Yeah, so I would argue it's a very similar thing to that. Let's move it back over there. Sorry, that's all I've got on that. I don't know, what are some... Yeah, Unity... So, Unity has... Is it coding for blockheads or something? And I've tried to do a bit... I had a previous game that I was doing a little bit of... where it was a first... It was like, it was one of those 5v5 multiplayer games... player versus player multiplayer games where... it was essentially like you had a point system. You had a certain number of points you could allocate to all these different abilities. It's like if you've seen the tabletop role-playing game Mutants and Masterminds, you have a point. You have a certain amount of points, and you allocate those points to different abilities. It was another superhero thing as well. I think I'm just obsessed with superheroes and cards. But it was one of those, and I started doing some networking stuff with it. And I set up a relay server using Unity's own relay Unity's own relay service, I'd say. I didn't really get anyone else to test it. I went on I downloaded the client on my laptop and I did it on my PC, and it worked fine. There wasn't much to it. But I was also learning about networking, so I wasn't the greatest at it. But it's okay. I think when Unity has its problems, and I've worked with it for years now, and it has its problems. It really does. But it really I don't know, man. It all sort of happened when... I say it all sort of happened. It was just sort of badly coded from the beginning, a lot of it, wasn't it? And lots of their features, they start making their features and then they don't finish them, but they publish them. I think that's a big thing with Unity that does actually keep happening. Is that it does... they keep doing that, and I think they keep doing that as well. And the same thing with their multiplayer network and stuff. Although it was still pretty good, and it was quite easy to understand how to set it all up, especially with like pooling objects. Although you did pull objects from one giant list, and if you've got a big game, you may have to create your own system to help separate pooling objects. Because it was in just the single manager, you had a big old list of these are all the networking objects you're going to use. And if you're using lots of things like projectiles and things like that and enemies, then that list would get pretty big. So maybe you would need to create a system where you have you on your end, you would create a list of all the objects you need to be pulled, or all the networking objects you have for a level, and then you would load that into the Unity's end of the manager. It's Unity. It's like I said, they provide quite a lot of quite a few good things. A lot of their things are unfinished, so you sort of have to go in and create systems around Unity systems. Yeah, that's all I have to say on that, I think. But thank you. No, if you have any more questions, yeah. But thank you. We'll carry on with this. I am sort of just making this up as I go along now, which is always fun. So, like I said, let's get back to this a bit more. Let's zoom out a bit more. So, this is sort of the view where you're going to be viewing it from the camera view. Obviously, it's going to be a lot closer to the player, but it's essentially what I'm saying is it's not like that. It's like that. So, we need to make streets and things like pavements go along this way. Oh God, I do nothing I hate in Unity is I think I already said this before. But God, its movement it's okay, but its gradual sort of fucking movement is so finicky sometimes. It's so annoying. Right. Am I happy with where the player is spawning? No. I would like the player to spawn a bit more over there. So let's to the player. Let's start you like there. There we go. And let's get the cube. Let's rotate it 45. Okay. So the things with like having like things like pavements and stuff is we don't actually want the pavements to actually have the box colliders, because we don't really want them to like have a little jolt up. We just sort of, or at least right now, we just sort of want it to be smooth, and we just want a visible sort of environment. And then we'll work on buildings later. Actually, I think one thing that I could probably work on maybe next time is looking at looking behind models and like having like a pass through sort of thing. Just a thought. I would need to do that at some point. What I will do though is I will activate all the borders meshes just so I can see where things are actually. Okay. Right. How's the game camera? Not where it needs to be. That's fine. Let's... Okay. Let's do like 10. And 0.5 on that. Let's get a mesh or material. Let's just duplicate this one. Meshing floor 2. Why not? Mission floor 2. There we go. And then let's go back to the cube. So normally you would obviously have the 3D models all done in like Blender or Maya or something, but I'm just trying to create basic guidelines. And I'm not going to fill this whole area in because, like, Jesus Christ, not now. I'm just going to do a small section where we can have enemies. Actually, if we activate the enemies, they are in enemies. There we are. They have the enemy movement script, which I created, which literally just goes towards the player, and that's all it does. So here they are. We'll bring them a bit closer as well, so we can sort of figure some things out. Right, pavements. Let's get that over here, and maybe let's make that. There we go. $150. No, I do like jazz. Jazz music is really nice. So let's actually. So the diagram I showed you. Let me just bring up again. Here we are. Oh, we'll do something like that for now. We'll have like a park or buildings around there. This is definitely not going to be what the first level is going to look like, but it's something so we can work on the other actual aspects of the game, like combat and things like that. So we have colliders that might be around, because I always find working on just a flat plane with no like other 3D environments. If you got mechanics that use game physics, like if you're pushing enemies back and stuff like that, you need to really know how they're going to react. So and also creating something like this, especially for the first dev stream, is just going to be a lot nicer to work with. Ooh, sorry about that. So let's try and speedrun some of this. A road is normally like 2 sections long. So if we do U and then duplicate U. Let's set you to 300 actually, and let's set you to 250. Let's set you to 250 as well, and then move you back. Then move you back. Oh, not up, back. There we go. Actually, 150. No, 200. Wow, I'm awful. Just changing my mind here and there and everywhere. 250. So, 200. Is that the same? No, they're not the same size. No, they're the same size. Okay. Do things like that. We have to make their thickness realistically a lot thicker, so it has to be like 15, doesn't it? 15. Zoom back in. How does that look? It looks like... Okay, right. Going to duplicate this, and let's make it 30 by 30. No, let's make it 100 by 100. This will be our park. No, let's make it 150 by 150. No, let's make it, there you go. Make it that big. So the good thing about snapping to grid is, well, I say the good thing would be is it doesn't do that, but I clearly have just lied to everyone, so There we go. And we'll change that texture just to level portal 1, because excuse me. Hey, whoa, what are you doing there? Hey, come on. Level portal, thank you. So that's nice and green. Oh, we should, you know what? Level grass, and we'll make it like a dark. There we go. And then let's duplicate this cube. $150, $100. There we go, and we're going to change that colour to a good old grey colour. Change it to the envy colour. Actually, let's change it to, instead of level grass, let's change it to level grounds. Let's right, and you duplicate you. Let's just do a bloody rotate on you. There we go. And we'll make you actually a lot longer, so we'll go 300 for you, and we'll move you forwards. Duplicate you, move you like there. And then duplicate, no, duplicate you. I'm not a 3D artist. I'm not a 3D artist. That will do fine. Duplicate you, move you over here. And then duplicate you again, move you here. And you know what, with you, let's make you 500. 6. There we go. So, cool. I think we got that all sorted nicely. So there are all the floors. Now let's create a new cube. All right, calm down, Jesus Christ, okay. Right. let's make you a building. So we need you a scale of like 10, no, 20, and 20. Let's make you like skyscrapers. Let's make you like 100. Bit big, 50. And we have to rotate you 45. Oh, I accidentally did that in the game manager. That's fine. Just save that. We need to actually save as well. Oh, we didn't save for a while. My computer likes to be finicky sometimes. And we'll change that. So we'll make this one 100. Why not make it like big old skyscraper? We'll make this one a small little 30. Not that you will probably be able to tell. Actually, let's make this 20. And is it that axis that we want? Yes, let's make that 30. There we go. And I'm going to just duplicate that one. Add it there. And duplicate these three. Duplicate. Let's have some trees. I'm going to duplicate you. I'm going to make you like 5 by 5. And then let's duplicate you. Let's make you 1 by 1. And these are our trees. Let's actually make the trees green. Level trees. Yeah, that color is fine. No, they need to be a brown, don't they? There you go, there's some trees. Where is, we'll change level ground into level building, building. And let's give these the texture of this. And here's the level. So, let's create. Let's organize this a bit more. Let's create an empty. We'll call this pavement. Or you look at pavements. Yeah, okay, so you, all the way down to you. Oh, I need to actually create one. We'll create a empty called trees. What's that? We'll do one for buildings. And then we got that, and that. Grass. Ground, and we'll just rename the other 2 grounds as well. Okay, rude. we've done this. I find just creating like a little thing here. Let's also extend all. Let's just extend all the sizes for these. And their colliders are off. Oh, I need to turn these colliders on. Oh, they are on. Okay, good. Yeah, so they're off. The pavements are off. These colliders are on. That's good. Good. Make that 300. Make that 300. And we'll make you guessed it, 300. Shit. 300. So now we have the cobbled pavements. What I might do is I might duplicate all of these trees. And just duplicate them once more, just to spread things out a little bit. And duplicate them, bring them over here. Okay, let's give this a test. I have to keep checking YouTube because they're not updating my chat in Streamlabs. It was at the very beginning, and then it wasn't, which is really annoying. But that's fine. Let's also check where the borders intersect. Oh shit, I turned the borders off. No, I just want to turn the mesh renderer stuff off. Okay. Yeah. So the roads are, I think, maybe far too big. Oh, actually no. So actually, when I said the level won't be this big, it might actually be a lot bigger than this. Who knows? I should know. I've written the game design document. I'll very quickly show you this. So, boom, the masked, Toby Jackson, all that stuff. That's all you're getting. That's all you're getting. So, let's go back. Let's give this a test. Also, let's... excuse me. I'm going to get some... I'm knocking everything over like that. I'm just going to get that, just so I can wipe the whiteboard away. Let's continue to save. Oh! Oh, they're not. Yeah. So. Okay. So. We have some trees here. We have shadows going both directions because there's 2 directional lights. Yeah, the floor's coming through the legs, but that's all fine. It's just, you know, something, an environment that we can test things out in. Ooh, an unsigned reference exception. Ah, I think I know what's happening. Let me double check if I know what's happening. Let's play continue. I think it's trying to activate ability. Oh. I think I know. I think the enemies. It would help if the enemies know what to look for so they can move towards them. So let's get to environment. Let's move enemies out of the environment. Let's also take enemies out of enemies. Yep. Be great if they had a player. You can't see. Be great if they actually had. So basically, this player section didn't say play, it just said nothing. And so I had to drag in player here. So, now with that said, let's try that again. And also I can wipe off the whiteboard. God, I feel like a teacher. I had a whiteboard. I used to have a whiteboard, and it used to be on like my bedroom wall, and I used to, yeah. And I used to like, you know, anytime I had like an idea for something, whether it was like a game or whatever, I always used to like write on there and go for. There we are. Yeah. So they just keep coming towards you. Oh, and if you get a certain distance away from them, they stop moving. Yeah, there you go. They stop moving. Okay. Okay. This is starting to like this. We have an environment where we can do a bunch of testing for combat, which will be maybe not next. It might be next week. I'll have a think about what I want to do tomorrow. All the good physics with all this. What I've been doing for 2.5. Like I said, I may only do 3 hours today, but we'll see. If we bring up our development timeline, you know what? Because I keep bringing it up on stream like that. So let me bring it up like this. Let me just bring up on the document itself, but won't show you anything else on the document. That's probably going to be a lot easier and a lot less pain in the arse. And I'm going to do. There we go. Okay. Development timeline. Where are we? So, yeah, I need to push these dates back. So, I'll definitely finish it by that, and that will also be finished just a week later, just in case. That's already done. At least the version I'm happy with it is done. June 21st. I'm gonna have to push that back. And this is the game development, people. I'm gonna push it to the 5th because we do it next week. We could probably get it done in a week, but I'm gonna be safe. 5th. That will be on the 5th as well. So a few things on the 5th. Those two can definitely. All the stuff about in progress is those are the bits I've already sort of did like a year ago. Why did this? I think that was an accident. Oh no, July. June, yeah, July, yeah. Okay, no, that was an accident. Okay, yeah. Play mission, I set to 26. We'll keep. Oh, okay. Yeah, we'll keep. We'll say that's in progress as well. Yeah. And then also, I'll share a bit more of the development timeline, basic enemies, and then we'll start some of the art stuff, which is player models, mission 1 environments, and then audio, and then some other stuff, which conversion system, player level, what's all that stuff. Okay. So, if we go back into level 1. God, I really should have planned, shouldn't I? Oh, I should have planned. I don't know what to do. Got nothing to do. So the enemies. Let's have a look at the enemies. They just have a player movement script. They do sort of lean when they're moving, I think. Am I not mistaken for that? Let's just load in and see what happens. Yeah, so they sort of lean back for some reason. And that's probably because they're looking at... Actually, let's just move the player around. Oh, right. There's a wall there. Yeah, so they're fine like that, but then when they get closer, they start tilting backwards. And that's because... So they're looking at the player, and the player point, I believe, is there. Yeah, okay. So... Go to the enemy movement. I mean, this enemy movement is so... I literally just did it so I could have other capsules. Fucking... Here. Call any function you want, like shoot here or something. I probably got this code from online somewhere just to... I was like, hey, just give me a quick, like, follow player code. Yeah, they move over time. I probably should have like a stop. I think player movement is okay for now. We don't need to really focus on that. We need to focus on combat. So, how do we? Let's actually plan how we want to do combat now, rather than me saying let's just do it later. So. So. The combat system. I'm going to bring this over here because I'm going to start looking at things that I'm not going to show you. I can show you a bit, can't I? Yeah, I can show. Okay. Damaged. Combat, basic. Let's show. I can show basic. I can show you basic movement and combat. So. I need to flesh it out a little bit more. So basic play movement is WSD. Cool, we get that. Basic combat. So when you're not transformed into a superhero, with the same button, which is the left mouse button that you use to attack, use your body's main ability. There's essentially going to be a kick and a punch, like a punch or a kick, that type of thing. So if you have no armor cards, you can still fight. If you're untransformed, you can still fight. The main thing we need to do is combat when transformed. So, when transformed, depending on what armor type you have equipped. Oh god, should I show you all the basics of the card system? Give me a minute. Let me remove that. Okay. Okay, no, yeah, we can just show this section, because this isn't spoiling anything, because you're going to find this out eventually anyway. So, what we have here is the first section of the card system. So, all cards are split into two main types. I've already said this: armor cards and boost cards. Armor cards essentially put the armor on and give you abilities that you can keep on using after a cooldown. Boost cards are a one-time thing for the mission. There's body, left arm, right leg, right leg. And they visually give the player the corresponding armor that's on the card and the ability. There's also a passive ability that each armor card has. But that actually might be a thing I might not do. I think I will do it though. Each armor card has a corresponding boost card. Has two corresponding boost cards. One of them, let me go over boost cards quickly. So there's two main types of boost cards. Right. Time for this. Time for this fucking... I just whacked myself in the fucking forehead. Is it better if I do this? Oh, it's so much better if I do this. Right. Oh, but now I have to draw my... I am so sorry for what's happening. Right, okay, cool. So, you have... Jesus, right. You have armor cards. And you have boost. That's what you have. I refuse to use paint for this type of stuff. I love the whiteboard. It's useful for me. Not for like showing you. For showing you it's a fucking nightmare. But like, we're gonna use it. So, boost card, armor cards have a split. It's split into five main types. So they're split into the body. God, writing like this is a nightmare. My handwriting is awful as it is. So, right. I know. They have body. They have left arm, right arm, left leg, and right leg. There you go. Boost splits into two. Boosts, you can have a basic boost card, or you can have a enhancement. Basic boosts are those grey ones you saw. They're just like HP increase or more shield or healing and things like that. Enhancement cards have to have a armor card attached to them. Each armor card has two enhancement cards. The enhancement cards split into three. No, sorry. Oh god, this is a fucking nightmare. So, why did I choose to do it like this? So stupid of me. Right. So, each boost card also can split into three. So each, I think I called them. So there's the boost and enhancement are types, and then those are the boost types, and then there's boost categories. The boost categories are. Can you? What did I? Okay, so utility, attack, and finisher. So that's what we have. utility, attack, and finisher. So there's attack, utility, attack, and finisher basic cards, and the same for enhancements. Each armor card has 2 enhancement cards attached to it. One of them is always going to be a finisher. So think of like if you remember, like, the tokusatsu shows like Power Rangers and things like that. So, like, when they blow up the monster with the big old cannon, that's like the finisher. And that generally costs quite a bit. I'm still wondering whether I only let you put one in the deck. Things like that. Like they're meant to be quite high powered. And they're not always like attacks. Sometimes I think I plan for one to be like this big old heal, things like that. They're the ultimates from like Overwatch or any like MOBAs, things like that. And also an arm card has another enhancement card that is a utility or an attack. It's called an enhancement card because it's meant to like enhance or add on to the armor card. And then you have all the basic ones, or all the basic boost cards that can be any of those. So essentially, that is that. There are more categories in in the armor cards. Like there's the groups. The groups are fire, water, earth, air, and maybe more groups to come. Who knows? We can actually probably see it right here, but no one knows. You never saw anything. There's also rarities. You have common cards and common, rare, super rare, legendary. Those are the common. Those are the rarities, similar to like TCG cards. And I think that's so. So whenever you draw a card from your deck, you draw a card from your deck when you defeat an enemy. And you also gain some draw power from them because they drop something called bio. See, I'm starting to go into the story here, so I'll stop on that. But one more thing, you can have a deck of cards. You can have 40 cards in a deck. 40 cards in a deck. No more than 4 cards of the same name, and I'm floating around maybe only 1 finisher. Armor cards also have a cool thing where they can be upgraded. So if you have multiple of the same armor card, then you can fuse them together. Ooh, voice shop. Then you can fuse them together, and they'll be a bit more powerful. And that's essentially the cards. So that was painless, wasn't it? That was very painless. I keep looking over here because that's where my stream setup stuff is. So I'm looking at myself when I do that. Can I get on? There we go. So, without further ado, I'm going to be honest now. Oh, I've completely forgot. Oh, I was just talking you through everything. Yes. So, if we go back down to combat. So, combat. Yep. So, combat when transformed, armor types, yada yada. Yep. So your body armor attack is just a weapon. So that's either a sword or a gun or a bow or spear, things like that. Shield. And then the other limbs, so the legs and the arms, they do an ability. That has a cooldown. Words. That has a cooldown every time you use it. And there's no cooldown for the weapon, the body armor, because you need to give the player a way to actually defend themselves and not actually get stuck in your own mechanics. And it does say here, if you see. For the rest of the armor types, each one has a specific cooldown that can't be... what the fuck was I trying to say there? What the... Oh, hey, kids, get proofreaders. Get your parents to proofread your fucking spelling and... Right, I'm going to put you in red, because oh, wow. The other armors, default buttons are Q for the left armor, right mouse button for the right, left shift, left leg, and right. And space for the right leg armor. Might change those around. I mean, I'm going to add in a way for you to change the key combinations anyway, and we're going to add controller support anyway. Because controller support and accessibility is a big thing. I want to add more accessibility. There's going to be subtitles for the voiceover, which I definitely want to add. I'll talk about voiceover maybe later. And, what was I saying at this point? Oh yeah, I want to try colorblindness settings. I'm gonna have to really look into that and contact some accessibility people and to get their opinions on things like that. Damage types. So every time damage is dealt, it has a damage type attached to it. And there are 5 damage types: blunt, sharp, energy, heat, and cold. I may add some more, may change those a little bit. I'm going to keep saying that because everything may change slightly through development. But essentially, blunt is, hammers. Sharp is swords. Energy is like a generic sort of like energy blasts that don't really have any other effects on them. And then heat and cold is specifically things like fire and ice and things like that. The player and the enemies can all gain damage resistances to the damage types. The player will gain them through the armor passive abilities, and the players will just generally, the enemies will just generally have them, depending on the enemy it is. Conditions. We have some conditions here. little glimpse. I actually can't. What is below? Let me. Okay. No, that's. I can't scroll down anymore because it was spoilers. But conditions. So these, will be inflicted onto enemies and the player. So burn is heat damage is dealt over time for a certain amount, certain amount of time. Drain, health is just reduced over time with no damage. That's with no damage type attached to it. It's just you draining the health. Freeze, cold damage over time. It's not reduced over time. It's dealt over time. Reduced over time? No. Slow, speed is decreased. Stun, stops all actions and movements for an amount of time. Confuse, confuses the target to attack randomly. Blind, the target moves randomly for an amount of time. It may work slightly different for the player, where there may be, like the Inkling in Mario Kart with that, like maybe something like that. But instead, maybe it's flashing black, fading into black, and you're being moved around a bit. Life drain, energy damage is dealt over time, and that damage is given as health to the person dealing the life drain. And then in Arc 2, 2 new conditions with some new enemies. We heal. The heal condition, which will gain health over time, and the scare condition, the target moves away from the enemy for an amount of time. So that's sort of the stuff we need to do when it comes to the combat system. And that's the thing. It will probably be next week. I might start a little bit tomorrow, and I will definitely plan something for Thursday's stream. But yeah. how... Okay. These are all some of the chests. Boost attacks like Yu-Gi-Oh! Magic the Gathering, yeah. So that's enough of that, I think, for now. Is there anything else I do want to show you in here, though? Definitely not the story, and definitely not the characters. That's going to be kept secret for a little bit. Combat. Mission design. I can show... Yes, well, I can show some of the mission design stuff. Oh. Right. Basically, each mission, you'll go to essentially like the level portal, which we've shown you, or it's probably going to maybe some sort of like computer in the home base. You're going to have the hub world is essentially your home base. It's essentially, you know, the Hades, Hades' bedroom and house. And I know he's not called Hades. Shut up. And so basically each mission, when you go into mission select screen, because there'll be different missions. There's story missions and side missions. Obviously, story missions move the story along. Side missions, you know, are just there to give you a bit more, you know, draw power, things like that. And then there's different types of missions. I'm planning on adding a few more, definitely in different arcs, but different objectives. Some missions may have multiple objectives, and some missions may have secret objectives that will show up halfway through. So the different objectives right now is defeat, which is defeat a main boss enemy, defeat multiple, defeat an amount of enemies specified, control, stop hordes of enemies from entering specific areas, retrieve, find a specific item, bring back to an area, or essentially just a teleport pad or a base. Retrieve multiple, find an amount of items and bring them back to the area. Rescue, find a lost human and bring them back to an area, and then rescue multiple is rescue multiple people. And then so for instance, you may have a rescue mission, and then halfway through, once you've gotten the lost human, a new objective may turn up. That's defeat, which is defeat the main boss enemy, things like that. So it needs to be quite fluid with the system. I might tell the player that there's a mystery objective as well. I might not. We'll have to see what happens with that. That's mission design. Yeah, and right here, mission UI. This is some stuff we've already seen. Number of cards in deck. So I might actually change. So bringing on to well, these are the controls. I'll quickly show that. Why not? So bring the whiteboard out again. Let's turn it around. I'll zoom in a moment. Yeah, they're the controls. Obviously, you can map them, and also we are going to do them for console. I just need to map the console ones out. So here we are. So my second idea, and I'm going to run it past you a lot. So I know no one's probably watching now, but if anyone watches this to this point in the VOD, then yeah, please let me know. So for the mission UI, here we are. That's the screen I'm gonna bring up. So right now I have the cards down here with the card deck, all your health here, and the current armor cards there. What I think would be good is to have the deck here sort of going off screen. So that's the deck. Oh, actually, like that. The deck there. Probably a lot smaller. And then the 5 cards, because you have 5 maximum cards. You can extend it via boost cards and things like that. But and then the cards in your hand sort of go around that. And then maybe like Hades up the side here is where I'll show you the current armor cards you have on. I realistically need to do that because the camera's so far away from the player and the model is quite small. You need some sort of UI reminder of what abilities you have active right now. And then for the health, probably around there. I might do it actually up there. So actually I think I like that. Yeah, so I like having it up there. So we have cards here, abilities there. So essentially we lock this side off to UI, and then the player's going to be here, and then we can see stuff coming from enemies coming from there. We can see everything else. I like that there, and I think I'm going to change it to that. Future Toby, to take a snapshot of that, please. Thank you. So I think that's the plan for the UI. Oh yeah, the whole thing was we were going to plan the combat, weren't we? So, oh, by the way, the green screen. As you see, I've got really weird lights. And I do have a couple ring lights, but I've tried them out, and I tried using the chroma key feature in Streamlabs, but it just didn't. I mean, also I've literally just realised I've got green headset on, which I think will be funny. So I'm still gonna try and get a good way to chroma key that out. Whoopsie. Oh no. Okay, you don't see this. Okay, and now it's just the development timeline. So the combat system. Let's hang on. I'm gonna wipe this off. Let's do a good thing that no programmer ever does, even though they are taught to do it, and plan their code or plan what goes into it. I say no one does it. I've done it before. So let me go back up to movement and combat. So we've got the movement now. We've got WASD. So we need for the combat. When it comes to the main for the basic combat, so untransformed or don't have a body piece, so punching and kicking, essentially it's going to combo out. So basic combat is going to be what do you call it? The type of system that is a modular combat system. So a combo system. That's what I'm trying to say. So depending on how many hits you get in to an enemy, it will gradually increase the amount of damage you do. Phone, can you be quiet? So what I mean by that is you punch them once and it does the base amount of damage. Let's say the base amount of damage is 10. So that's the first time you hit. The second time you hit, you times it, you double it. Or at least you times it by 2. So it doesn't do 10, it does 20. And then the third time you hit them, it does like a fancy little uppercut animation, and then it triples it, either from its base value or the previous value. For now, let's go to the next value along, so that'll be 40. So that's very basic combo combat. That's realistically all I really need, because the complexity comes in the cards and the options you make. I might expand on this a bit later on, but that's what we need. So we need sorry, a bit of tape on the whiteboard there. So each ability Oh no, each attack. We'll go. Each attack needs its damage. We'll probably define the modifiers there for it, because maybe depending on the attack, it does more things like that. Oh, actually, what we need is its damage type as well, because it one of the 5, so blunt, sharp, NG, so on and so forth. Ow, God, it's really sharp. I've got shorts on. It's really digging into me. So for the basic combat, because it's essentially kicks and punches, that's probably just going to be blunt and not much damage. And then what we'll probably do is we need to set up the animations for it. Obviously right now don't, but I need to plan ahead for all the animation stuff. And maybe I can do a little weird jig animation with the current guy just to show that would be working. So that's some animation stuff. Maybe so a use cool down. I did a question mark. Essentially, that would be a Boolean. So essentially, a yes or no statement. Will this attack use a cooldown? Yes or no? There we go. And then cooldown. So the actual cooldown number, how long it will be cooldown for. Probably some other things as well, but I'm just spitballing here. Also, like I said, not used to doing this in front of a stream. Woo, love that. Or a VOD. Remember, watch it later. So regardless, there's probably more stuff to add. But basically, that's the type of stuff we need to take into account for each attack and for each ability. So that's for things like the weapons. So all the body weapons, which if I can find the document, where's the document? No, I don't think I can find it quick enough. That's fine. So the document, but I created a spreadsheet of all the cards, right? Or at least all the current cards. And so there's 2 body type cards in each type. So essentially 8 plus maybe body cards. So 8 plus weapons. So we have a sword and we have a gun. We know that for sure. So in the scriptable object, because all the cards are scriptable objects, and like I said before, scriptable objects are objects that contain data. Wow, I'm fucking brain dead after this. This is taking up even more energy than I thought it would. That's fine. In that script that contains the scriptable object as well, or that makes the scriptable object, is a activate ability function, and that's essentially where all this will go. So all this attack information will be going into the card data. And also all this attack information will be going into the enemy scripts, because the enemies are going to be attacking you. So, cool, we got that. Next, we need a way to do the combos. And that's probably all just going to be... I think I'm going to create a separate system for it that's going to interact with the current body card you've got on. So, basic... no, what am I doing? Not basic combat. I want combo system. So I want a combo system Because that's good. So, for instance, with like the sword, you're also going to be able to combo that as well, not just the basic combat. Same thing with the gun and things like shields. You won't obviously be able to do it with other abilities because they have a cooldown. These generally won't. Okay, that's sorted. Cooldown, damage types. Yep. Oh, also in here, any status conditions or you know things like that. So I won't write it down. You need some status conditions if we have it. So I'm going. I just clicked away from my bloody game design document. The health, armor, yada yada. Okay. Yeah, and then essentially we need in the combat. Yeah, I think that's really the combat system. So as long as we can have values exiting or values ready to be retrieved, which is your damage value, and as long as it all works, and that's kind of it. That's the basic version of it planned. That's all we really need right now. We can go into some more complicated stuff later. And then what I would probably do, if we look at our plan, if we go back up, let's go to the computer capture. Yeah, so that's combat system. Basic player action. See, I think combat system, basic player actions and abilities are going to be very similar. The only difference between actions and abilities in combat system is that combat system is like the whole combo thing and body armor and other enemies, and abilities and actions are the limb abilities with the cooldowns and things like that. So them two are going to tie into each other a little bit. And then we'll work on health and things like that, and that's where I'm going to probably add in rudimentary health for those enemies, just so we can have something to collide with for the attacks, and similar thing for setting up our health, which I've only really set up the draw power and the armor, but I've already done the calculations for the health, I believe. Actually, that would be an interesting thing to go to. And go back to full screen. And scroll back up to here we are. So health, right now it's a flat number, and I wasn't going to do like an XP leveling up system, but I think I will now. I don't, because I was looking at it, and it's like, there's not much like progression, is there? The only sort of progression you get is with the cards, but if I don't balance that right, then you might just be quite overpowered. So it is all about balancing, so I think I will do an XP system. And when you level up, you just get a bit more extra health each time. So it is set to a flat number, but so it says only increases after the first 3 arcs. I might change that to, actually leveling up via XP. So that does mean enemies need an XP variable. That's fine. The player can temporarily increase it with boost cards and can heal with boost cards. When the player takes damage and the armor value is 0, I'll get to armor in a minute. Basically, when they're transformed and they are 0 HP, 0 armor, then they untransform, and then they have a smaller health bar there, and then that's when you do all your basic combo stuff, and then once you die, after that you get teleported back to your base, your HQ. I need to change the name to HQ to something else. I didn't know what to call it. Armor is kind of like armor in a bunch of other games, where it's set by the armor cards. So when you add an armor card when you use an armor card. And to add armor to yourself, each armor card has an armor value that gets added. When you take damage, depending on the rarity, it decreases the damage by the percentage. You see that common 2%, yada yada yada. And once your armor is to 0, can you take damage from your health. However, armor, if you're not being attacked after, I think, 5 seconds are put there, obviously that's going to have to be tested, your shield armor will regenerate. And then there's draw power. Draw power is the resource the player uses to activate cards in a mission, as well as the currency used to buy cards and chests. And upgrading cards and things like that. Enemies drop bio. I sort of wanted this weird sort of like fleshy, spiritual sort of substance, and I wasn't really quite sure what I cut, so I like the bluer bio. It might change. And then once you run over it and pick it up, or because it'll come to you, it will go into your transformation device. This is like story stuff. Go into your transformation device and turn into draw power for you. Essentially, the enemies drop your currency, is essentially what that just means. So, I think today, I think we've done three and a bit hours. I'll continue this off stream, and I'll make a proper plan for combat. And I'll start setting things up. And I think then, I think it'll be good to go. Essentially what I'm saying is I'm probably going to end the stream here. So thank you to everyone that's watched live, everyone who's going to watch the VOD. Thank you. You can watch it. If you're on Twitch, you can watch it at Toby Jackson Voiceover on YouTube. Thank you. I'll probably continue with this off stream just for a bit longer. And hopefully I'm going to get more comfortable with... I think the reason why I sort of wasn't doing much and just explain things. One, it was the first stream. I might do a video. I think the idea is to do a video on YouTube about introducing my game, so I don't have to, say, hey, go back to the first stream and watch that whole thing to find out about my game. But here we are. I'm hungry. I haven't had food for a while, so I'm going to get some food. Thank you all so much for watching, and so much for everyone who's going to watch. Right now, what's been happening to me with redundancies for everyone and being laid off. Any support means a lot, and any follows, and I appreciate it all a lot. So thank you. Follow me on my socials. All the socials are going to be down below in the comments and below in Twitch. Feel free to donate if you can spare anything. I have a coffee as well. I'm going to set that up properly later. Probably should do that tomorrow or after. There's lots of stuff to do. If I'm a voiceover, like I said, so if you have any projects, you feel free to reach out. I'm going to plug all that stuff. Thank you. And we'll end the stream. Thank you.